Ellen Lewis. I want to tell you, Ellen Lewis is a 5-star, literally 5-star. Is that crazy and amazing? And I'm so proud of her. And one of the things I'm the most proud of Ellen Lewis is her willingness to always train, and willingness to always share. And, I want to tell you that she is a superstar. And just get your pen and pencil ready, because she will teach and you will learn so much from our amazing Ellen Lewis. Go take it away, Ellen Lewis, 5-star.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pam. And thank you everybody for giving me the opportunity to train today. I'm going to be talking to you about goal setting and habits, right? Because those two things go hand in hand. A lot of times we talk a lot about setting the goal, but we kind of miss that piece on all the habits that you need to form in order to achieve that goal. So there are two things that you're in complete control over. You're in control of your attitude and your effort. Those are a lot of times the only two things you're in complete control over, right? All right, so you want to set your goals, your intentions. You want to create the habits around those goals, and then you trust the process. When you're doing those first two things, and especially when you have that habit piece in place, you truly can let go and just trust that process. If any of you have ever been through physical therapy, it is very similar to that, right? In the beginning, they say, what's your goal? And you're like, well, I want to use my hand again, or whatever it is. I want to be able to walk. And they say, that's a really great goal. And then they give you the things to do every day, do these exercises, massage, do whatever it is, right? And you kind of have to, at one point, you have to trust that process because you're not seeing the progress, right? And so that's the same thing when it comes to your business. In the beginning, you set this goal and it seems so far away, but when you break it down and then you form these habits around the process, right? Then the progress happens and you slowly start seeing it as long as you stay the course. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Because when you don't have those habits in place, you will literally see all of your heart's desire, your goals, you'll see it slowly start to fade away. And that's what we don't want. All right. So when it comes to setting goals, there are some specific steps that you cannot skip, right? The first step is commitment, right? You need to be committed to that goal. All right. So that's a really important step. So you need to figure out what that intention is. All right. So Cheryl had mentioned $10,000 personal sales. That is actually, some of you are like, you're crazy if you think that's going to be my record breaker goal. But I'm telling you, after today, you're going to believe that it's possible because so many people before you have done that before. And maybe it hasn't been you, but that doesn't mean it can't be you this time. All right. So you want to declare what your intention is. And so you want to commit to that. So again, we're going to stick with that sort of $10,000 personal sales goal. All right. So why is this your sales goal? All right. Why is this your sales goal? I loved when Cheryl said, record breaker, dream maker. I loved that. So what is it when you hit that goal? What is that going to do for you? Okay, you're going to make $3,500, right? Right off the bat, just through your commissions and your extra bonuses. But what else is that going to do for you? You know, maybe it's about proving it to yourself or proving to somebody who's doubting you this whole time. All right. Maybe it is with that amount of sales and X number of recruits, you're going to reach X level in the business. All right. And maybe it's a stepping stone to more. You know, you want more out of this business and you really want to just go for it. And this is a great month to springboard off of and really accelerate the growth that you have in your business when you do that. But the big thing is I want you to start thinking about what it feels like when you hit that goal. What is that going to feel like? Who are you going to tell first? Who's going to be most excited for you? What is it going to do for your confidence? And just the more senses you can bring into your visualizations, the better. All right. And then the next step, you want to have a deadline. Of course, we have a deadline. It's a month, right? We know we have a month. That's what we're rolling with, right? However, it is really important to break it down. And we're going to talk about that in just a second and put deadlines on all those steps. That's a really, really important piece and that we're going to get to. You want to be able to reward yourself and maybe the others that are helping you. So think about what that reward looks like. A lot of times the reward is, you know, the confidence that you gain, the fact that you actually did it, and you can now say, it's possible for me to sell $10,000 in 1 month, right? And that's a great reward. It's funny because Pam actually pointed out to me at one point, I had earned a Vera Bradley weekender bag, right? And at the time I couldn't afford a Vera Bradley weekender bag, and I didn't really need a Vera Bradley weekender bag, quite honestly. But, you know, when I earned that, every time I looked at it, I thought about what I did to earn that, and it made me feel good. And I remember another point, and she said, I do that intentionally. That's why I don't give away money. That's why a lot of times I try not to do gift cards, because I want you to be able to look at something and remember what you're capable of, right? And there was another time I bought myself a Coach watch, and I do not spend money like that on things like that. And every time I looked at it, it made me feel so proud. And the class broke on it. And when I took it there, they said, well, we're going to send it away. We're not sure if we can fix it. And I was like, I walked out of that store and I felt like somebody had taken something from me, because the thought of it, and it was so silly. It was like the thought of not having this watch, because every time I looked at it, it reminded me of who I was and the things I could possibly do and the people I could help. And that's what a reward means. So think about something really special, and maybe it's just something special to put on your desk that you can look at. Maybe it's a plaque on your wall, right? But maybe it's something else. So it's up to you. What's going to be a good reward for you that's worth working towards? All right, now you got to break it down. All right, this is what I wanted to get to. All right, so they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. All right, so how do you sell $10,000? One sale at a time. One sale at a time. All right, so look at your parties. Do you have, what kind of parties do you need? Do you have enough? Right? How many contacts do you make? Do you have enough people to contact? If you're a leader and you have a unit goal, all right, so how many unit members have to sell in order for you to reach your unit goal? Do you have enough, right? No, then it's time to get creative and problem solve. So one of my favorite problem solving activities that I do myself all the time, and I do with my leaders and my kids and anybody that will let me help them problem solve, quite honestly, is I like to make a crazy list. All right. And so, I remember, and it's a crazy list. Like the first thing that pops in your head on how to get to wherever it is you're trying to get to. Right. And so let's stick with the party stuff. All right. So say you need more parties in your lineup. So you start brainstorming on this, and like anything goes. Okay. Like literally anything goes. And so you want to, you're just writing down a stream of consciousness, and maybe just like, maybe it's, ask people on the street, right? Put a sign, stand on a corner and say, I need parties to reach my Tupperware goal, right? Maybe it's put a sign in your front yard. Maybe it is force people to do it. Call in all the favors. Guilt can sometimes work. Okay. Maybe it's messaging everybody in your phone. Maybe it's an email blast, right? So, and then let's talk about the $10,000. All right. As Cheryl mentioned, you can have $10,000 parties or $2,500 parties. You can also sell 200 sets of our That's a Bowl set for $50 a piece. Or here's a good one. You can sell 800 measuring made sets at $12.50 a piece. Right? Or maybe you could find somebody that just has $10,000 and wants to spend it on Tupperware. So you see where this list is it's kind of out there. Some of it's logical, some of it's not really super probable, right? But somewhere in the middle is the answer. And sometimes one of those crazy ideas that you put out there, you're like, okay. So there was one time I was making a list on how to make working with a leader, how to make $1,000 this month, right? And so we had this crazy list. And one of the things was like rob a bank, right? Because that's logical when you need $1,000. But that was one of the things on the list. And I said, okay, let's go back to the bank thing. We're not robbing it, but does your bank have community days? Do they allow somebody to come in and set up and promote their business when they have a business account? So somewhere in the middle, there is a good idea, right? But you got to kind of go through that process. And the thing that happens when you're doing that is the energy that you're putting into it. I'm a firm believer in the energy that you put out comes back to you, a firm believer in that. And so when you can put that positive, crazy, fun energy into your business, crazy, fun stuff starts happening. And so it's really important part to the steps, the the process, sorry, couldn't find the word. All right, so you want to plan ahead. All right, you want to think about possible obstacles that might get in your way of hitting this goal. All right, family. Okay, family gets in, I don't want to say gets in your way, but they complicate things sometimes when you're going here and they're going here, right? So get them involved, right? I love to tell the kids about the goal. I make some sort of reward that is something that they can enjoy too. Sometimes it's as simple as dessert for dinner, right? An ice cream bar for dinner, something like that. It doesn't have to be a weekend trip to Great Wolf Lodge or anything expensive like that, right? I like to keep it very simple with them. But get them into it, create a thermometer, you know, and they'll be like pushing you out the door to go do these parties so that they can reach that goal. All right, so another obstacle, chores, right? Things around the house, daily stuff that's going on. You can outsource some of that stuff. And some of you are like, Ellen, I can't afford a housekeeper. You're crazy. You know, no. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be a trading situation, right? You could trade your neighbor some Tupperware that she's wanting to come over and clean your bathrooms about midway through the month, just so that you don't have to take the time to do that. It just takes that mental piece out of it, right? Because a lot of times stuff like that takes up mental space for me. It's not that it takes that long, it's just the mental space that it takes up. The day-to-day responsibilities, it takes a village, right? So maybe you're like, hey, I will, if you can take my kids to practice for the next 2 weeks, because maybe you bunched a whole bunch of parties right there, for the next 2 weeks, I will take your kids for a date night, right? Or whatever it is. So it takes a village. So see who in your village might be somebody that might be an ally for you and you reaching that goal. All right, dinner, laundry. Okay, it's a thing. All right, it's definitely a thing. They need to be fed, and everybody gets grumpy, right? And so, freezer meals, have takeout menus on hand. I know somebody, when it came to laundry for a big month, she actually would go out and buy extra socks and underwear for everybody so that they wouldn't run out of laundry midway through the month. I know it's crazy, but then at the end of the month, that's when they sorted through and got rid of the old stuff, and now everybody has some new socks and underwear. Whatever you need to do, right? All right, your spouse, get them in on it, right? Because sometimes the spouse is the one that's kind of pushing against you because they want to spend time with you. And I understand that. But when you get them involved and get them excited about the possibilities this could mean for everybody in the future, a lot of times they come around, right? Transportation, think 3 days ahead. Again, it goes back to like carpools with the kids, and maybe it's your own transportation. Maybe you need you have transportation issues to get to your parties. Get thinking ahead so you can make sure that that is not going to be an obstacle for you. Supplies. Oh my God. How many times have you gone to print a flyer and you had no paper or ink? All the time. All right. You can just put that right in the chat. Be like, yes, yes. All right. Or lamination papers when I'm getting ready to go do a show or something like that. Demo food, food for your demo, catalogs, things like that. So think ahead about things like that so that way it kind of smooths out your road, right? All right, so let's talk about habits. Okay, so consistency is key to the success, and consistency comes from your good habits that you form. So good habits is just like goal setting. So a lot of the things are very similar. The steps that you take into making these good habits are very similar to the goal setting. All right, so what are some of these good habits? Follow up, consistent posting in your parties or on your social media, being ready for business, right? Having stuff prepared, being ready for business, working on your positive outlook, being present in the moment, right? Being present in the moment, your team, your unit, they feel that when you're not present in the moment. Taking good care of your mental and physical health, because if you're not feeling good, you're gonna have a hard time feeling it in your business day in and day out. So it's important to feed your mind and your body the right things that it needs to be able to thrive. And sometimes that's just sleep. Okay. I know some people are like, I'm a night owl, I don't get much sleep. That's great if that's how you work, but pay attention to that and see if it's something that's affecting your habits and your consistency in your business. All right. So when forming a habit, you want to commit. What will happen when you succeed? It goes back to those senses. What's going to happen? How are you going to feel? Who are you going to tell? All those things. Commit to that outcome. All right, so triggers are one of the best ways to help you form habits, right? So maybe your trigger is getting up in the morning. All right, so what do you do next? Right there's a perfect time to form a habit. Maybe when your feet hit the floor, you grab a cup of coffee in your hand and you take some quiet time to yourself. right? Maybe so I love, there's a great book. It's called Miracle Morning. I have the one for direct sellers. It's amazing. It has all these really successful people's morning habits and their routines. I think it's great. And I strive to be that person at some point in life. And I used to set that goal at the beginning of each year, but it's just not where I'm at right now because I got to get everybody out the door and get going in the morning. So I value my sleep very greatly. I'm not going to get up early enough to do this before I get them out. And so that doesn't work for me right now, but I'm always working towards that, right? What I do is I like to make a prioritized list the night before. So once everybody's out the door, when I come home and I'm like drinking my tea in the morning, I have my list right there and I can be like, okay, this is the most important thing. This is second most important. And the rest of it doesn't really matter. If I get to it, great. And if I don't, right? So that's what works really well for me. So those are the triggers that I kind of like, that I have stuff in place. As soon as I feel that trigger, my habit kicks in. All right, reward yourself. Remember, when you have good habits in place, all you have to do is trust that process, right? And so make sure to keep some rewards around some of those good habits. All right, track and learn from the process. This is a step that many people forget to do. Review, plan, do. All right, that's really important. Review. You want to review the thing, like what went good, what went bad, what it looks like, right? What you want to fix. Plan, make plans to enhance the good and minimize the bad and change that up, and then take action. So I work with a lot of my directors and leaders, and I have to give a shout out to one that is like literally the best at review, plan, do, and it's Nikki Micah. She's amazing. Her background is as a coach, and so that comes through in her business all the time. And she's mastered the review, plan, do. Every so many weeks, she'll like look at her Facebook page, she's like, nah, this isn't working, it's out. Oh, this is great. I'm going to enhance this. And so every couple of weeks, she's like, oh, I'm just busy and, doing my Facebook party over again, because she's doing that review, plan, and do. And it can be done as a team and unit as well, right? So you can look at, where's my team going? What are we doing? And the big thing when it comes to your goals, right, is that it's like a subliminal message going behind. So some of you are like, Ellen, every year I set these goals. I do the SMART goals. I do all the things that successful people are doing, and I'm still not having the success. There's one thing that a lot of times people don't talk about when it comes to all the do this and you'll get this, right? There's one thing people don't really talk about, and it's the subliminal messages that are going on in your head. It's that belief system. Do you believe you can do it? Because after today, you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to sell $10,000 personally. I mean, I've never sold 500 in a month, but I'm going to sell 10,000. I know I can do it, because you're going to be so motivated. It's going to be so amazing and all of that. And that's great. But tomorrow, are you going to feel the same way? And the day after, are you going to feel the same way? The thing is when you kind of confuse the mind, right? You confuse the mind, you confuse everything out there when you start questioning, can I do it? Right? When you want things to happen fast, you need to raise your certainty. You need to increase the clarity of what you're intending. Visualize that. Go to it every day, every chance you get. Sitting at stoplights, thinking how amazing it's going to feel when you have $10,000 in the bank, whatever your goal is, right? All right. And be of one mind. And when I say be of one mind, I mean, if you say you're going to sell $10,000, you need to believe it all the way through till the end of October. Never have a day that you're like, I don't know. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think this is going to happen. Because when you start doing that, you put those doubts out there, and it's the worst thing you could possibly do. It's like drinking poison. You're sending those mixed messages. And so it's really important, because then you'll start to see those goals fade before your eyes. And then you'll be like, well, I think I need to adjust my goal. No, adjust the process to get up there. Right. All right. So if you take nothing else from today, I want you to think about this: where you focus, your energy flows. And so decide what you want and make it crystal clear every day. Imagine as if it's already happened and you have it now, and see that every single day, every chance you get, and then get to work. All right. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Was that amazing or what? Go ahead. Put your ahas right down there under the training. Just say, oh my goodness, I love this. I love this. You know what I loved? I love review, plan, do. I loved that.